choice. We're going racing next weekend, but am I ready? No. But I'm sure Jason knows how to ride a motorcycle, and if he's here, he'll get better and better. But he knows it's going to be a long season, and it's deep, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that's what makes it so tough, because now you got to deal with Jorge Prado. You just saw Tomac out there. So many riders also returning. And there is Prado, two-time and would be the defending MSGP world champion over in the more European-based series. He is from Spain, but not defending that title because he moved to the United States. And that's a big deal for Kawasaki. They didn't get anything in Supercross because he got injured in the third race of the year. But this is his specialty, outdoors.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this guy ride. It's going to be a big change for him, because not only he's coming over to a place where he's never raced at and different season, but a different motorcycle, going to different competition and all that. And,
yeah.
And I'm sure for him, he's mentioned that as well.
Talked to Prado yesterday about moving over here and just trying to take stock of the scene in general. Here's Jorge.
Yeah, so I think right now we are living one of the best moments in motocross worldwide. So it's cool to line up against great champions, and I think it's very exciting for the public, for the fans, and I think for the riders as well. It's a great motivation. For example, for myself, that's one of the reasons why I came here, to challenge myself with different guys. So no, I think it's going to be a great outdoor season.
Be great to watch. We'll see if it's great for which racers, and so many returning. That includes both factory Honda riders. Talked a lot about Jet because of that fast lap time, but also Hunter Lawrence returning. So the Honda HRC rig is full for the first time in a while, just like that Monster Energy Kawasaki rig is. So let's see the story over at Honda. We'll send it to Haley with the team manager, Lars Lindstrom. Haley.
Lars, we haven't seen Jet and Hunter in a couple months, but you have for these last few months, and especially these recent weeks. So what have you seen from them during the week that might indicate they're going to have a good day today?
Honestly, not a whole lot. And I say that only because they ride, by themselves. I don't get to see them as much as you would think, because I'm in California and they're in Florida, so it's a little bit rare. The main goal has been to get Jet back riding healthy, rehab his knee and bring it in at a slow pace, and that's not really how Jet operates. So it has been a little bit, unsettling, or we're a little bit anxious to see how we actually stack up, and I think everybody's like that. It's you just don't know until you go racing, which is when you see them go 1 and 3 in the first session. It's just the vibe just gets built up a little bit. The vibes in the truck is a little bit easier afterwards. Just good to see that in a stacked class like we have right now, more than ever, that we're at the sharp edge of it. It's really nice to know.
Thank you very much, Lars. Like you said, you don't know until you go racing. We're going to keep an eye out for these guys, Jet and Hunter.
Well, I'm glad Lars articulated that, because our man Jason Thomas has been saying that all week. No one really knows where they stand. I asked you, who I would think had the basis to be more confident than anyone ever, and you said, yeah, even you would sometimes not know really until you showed up.
No, I mean, and especially when you're coming off an injury like Jet, the way he's riding, you forget that he even had a knee injury. But I will say this, when you come off an injury, and especially being a Jet Lawrence, I remember back in 2008 when I showed up at the first race, sometimes you come out here and you're so focused and you put such a hot lap in that it's almost like you're, I wouldn't say overriding, but because you're so focused and you don't know, you come out here and you put in a hot lap, that gap can be a lot bigger, because if you're just focused about, look, I want to come out here and have that speed. And so you can have a 2-second gap, but not really be 2 seconds faster, if that makes any sense. When you have like a guy like Chase Sexton, he's out here trying to fill his motorcycle. Eli knows, look, it's going to be a long season, I'm having fun. So Jet is 2 seconds faster. His whole thing is about coming out here and trying to find that speed. So he's figured that part out. And yeah, as Lars, as you mentioned, a lot easier in the truck and in between races and in between practice. So what you might see in this next practice, Jet might calm down and that gap might not be as big, because the emphasis is now he knows he has the speed. Now he can go out there and just focus on the racetrack. And so I think what we saw in that first practice is nice, but I don't know if that's going to last all day long.
So what you're saying is not everyone is going to have the same approach in that first session, so maybe that's where some of the variance in lap times.
Because he's coming in here, his biggest thing is like, man, I hope I still got the speed.
Yeah.
So his emphasis was coming out here is like, look, I need to prove that to myself, and that's what you see, that 2 seconds. I don't think anybody else in this field has that mindset. So now that Jet's figured that out, he might come out here in this practice and be more focused on the motorcycle and all that. So for sure, he looks comfortable, but he also knows what he needed to do mentally, and he was able to accomplish that in that first practice.
What's also tough is we talk about all these riders coming back from injuries, but obviously they're all on different timelines. So Tomac said he might have been able to get back from his leg injury in time to race some Supercross at the end of the year. He was feeling that healthy. He said he's never ridden this much motocross in the preseason because normally they're racing Supercross right to the end. So Tomac, I don't think this is a rush job for him, whereas Lawrence is just a couple weeks past 3 months into ACL surgery, which is an extremely short time frame.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the ACL, like you know, at one point, like when the doctor clears you to ride, you're pretty good. Like there's no really pain. I didn't have any pain in my knee, so it's a little bit different than having like an injury in the wrist or something like that. I feel like when Jet's out here riding, it's comfortable. He knows like if he hurts it again, it's going to be just like if he didn't have a surgery. So for him, he's fine, and it's good to see him back out here.
Yesterday on press day, we asked Lawrence about the recovery.
The knees, pretty much 100%. I'm still lacking some muscle size, obviously, in the leg, but on the bike it feels good, honestly. It feels strong during moto, so I'm excited because obviously it's way different on race day, but how your body brews the energy and stuff like that, you use a lot more, so we'll see how it lasts in that, but it feels really good. Obviously did a lot of therapy and PT on it with Dr. G, and obviously training with Johnny O'Mara and Michael Byrne. They've been helping me a lot, so to try and get back stronger, and we're excited to see where we're at.
Well, listening in, Jet. No one's cranked it up yet. All the fast times that you see on the pylon there on the left, all from the first session, at least so far.
Yeah, this track's changing a lot in that 250 class. I mean, for these guys, they got the power, so I don't know how much faster the racetrack is. I'm sure they'll probably go faster just because they're, you know, second time on or third time on the racetrack. They're just getting more comfortable riding motocross rather than the track has changed that much. So Jet looks really patient to me. I mean, I saw him that first practice. He was really throwing it in, trying to get the speed. Now he kind of looks more like Jet himself. And that's where I was mentioning maybe he's going to calm down. But with this guy right here, you know, I agree. We were talking what Jet, his mentality coming in here. I don't know if Eli has that. You know, I just like what I see, and the way Eli's biggest thing has always been mental. You know, the guy knows how to ride a motorcycle, and when he's happy and he's moving around on a motorcycle, that's all you need to know for the number 3. And that's what I see right there. He looks good, looks comfortable, and he's happy to be out here, and it's showing.
Oh, he's all smiles yesterday at the press conference, and I think a lot of that is just the enjoyment he has at racing, and probably, a little mistake there. I think a little bit is the confidence he's already built the last few weeks riding at home. Let's go to JT.
Watching Eli Tomac here, and he's making a few mistakes, but the difference in riding style between Jet and Eli Tomac, which James mentioned there, is so different. There's such a contrast. You know, I think Jet Lawrence, he finesses his motorcycle around the racetrack. He really works with what the track is giving him. Where Eli Tomac, I think he's a hammer, and the entire world looks like a bunch of nails. Like, he just will beat any track into submission, and when he is on, he will beat the competition into submission as well. So that's what I'm looking for from Tomac today, is can he be that guy that goes out and wins? Because the last time he was here, he won a championship on this very racetrack. Now, that was 3 years ago, and he wasn't racing against the best version of Chase Sexton and Jet Lawrence. So we'll see, but I love watching those two in the 2 boxes there, and you see the complete difference in how they go about attacking this racetrack, but then in the end, the result is very similar.
Thanks, JT. Lawrence just did it. He topped his time from the first session, as did Sexton. So Sexton now up to second, but Lawrence still fastest.
But when you look at that time, Eli went faster too. He went at 2:15.9, and we saw that big mistake that he had on top of that hill. So if he would have cleaned that up, he would have been faster than Jet. Okay. But as JT mentioned, like the way Jet rides his racetrack, like he's very patient. Clearly, he's fast, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes the way he rides because he just takes his time to get in the corner. Where you see Eli, he's throwing it in there and he's hammering it. And if Eli gets a clean lap, it's going to be faster than all these guys, but the likelihood of him not getting it, I think that's what it almost outweighs towards to Jet. Jet was smoother. He was able to complete the lap without making a mistake. Eli was probably faster around the racetrack with that big mistake, and that's what cost him. But overall, they're pretty close. Interesting to see with the RJ.
Yeah.
Heard him in between practice. No expectations. Good to see him out here. I thought he was going to have surgery. Wasn't sure if he was in there going to race this outdoor season. So nice to see him out here. I think he's going to do well on this 450.
Well, I want to ask you, RJ known Hampshire as one of the hardest charging 250 riders. Is that a blessing or a curse on a 450?
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, he's had some issues, staying up on the 250, but I think there's one thing of just hammering and just overriding the motorcycle. I think RJ's really loose on the bike.
Okay.
And so I think he'll be all right with this. And if not, that 450 will figure him out pretty quick. He'll tone it down.
We checked in with Hampshire yesterday on press day. Here are his thoughts.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's always a dream to have a 450 ride, and especially with the factory team as awesome as my Husqvarna racing team. Yeah, just a dream. I mean, one that you always kind of shoot for, and finally had that opportunity, and man, I was all over it, and the team supported it because this year it was supposed to be all 250, and whenever I came to them with this idea and what I wanted, they were all for it. So yeah, super excited. I love riding a 450 and have for a while, so finally get to go full time and just invest my time and get this bike where I want it, and yeah, I'm excited.
Well, guys, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here because RJ Hampshire, he had wrist surgery 11 days ago, and it hasn't been the storyline. He really didn't talk about it. I only knew because he posted a story about it for about 30 seconds before he pulled it down. I forced it out of him at the press conference to tell us about it, and he briefly mentioned it and moved right on. So it's a miracle that he's out here racing. Imagine for the average person having a wrist surgery 11 days ago and then being able to qualify 6th at the Fox Raceway opener. It's a testament to who RJ Hampshire is, and honestly, it doesn't shock me because we've seen this guy put up with a lot of pain in the past as well.
Yes, you said a normal person wouldn't do that, but he is far from that. So many stories like that with Hampshire. Thanks, JT. Now get a look at Chase Sexton throwing down.
As I mentioned at first practice, he really was just kind of figuring that thing out, filling it out. Now this is more, he's starting to put in the heater. Looks good. He's second in this practice. I think Chase knows, like if he's close, I think he has the confidence in his fitness. The fact that take a little bit of stock that, he's pretty comfortable on this motorcycle, got another year. See how difficult that section is going down. Those lap riders going to hinder him. But overall, I just like what I see from Chase. I think this is going to be a long season, long day. And if he's within a second of Jet, which he is, I think as this race goes on, he'll be fine.
So, yeah, much more competitive, Sexton, than he was in the first session. And just missed that Monster Energy Supercross Championship. Shout out to Cooper Webb, who won that title for the 3rd time. And then there was talk that maybe Webb wouldn't race Pro Motocross because he's been dealing with a thumb injury all year long this year, just like last year, where Webb didn't race motocross. But I talked to Webb. He said last year his thumb was 100% torn, had to get surgery. This year the thumb was 50%. It's actually healed up as the Supercross season has gone. So that's why Webb is here today, 12th quickest, and we found him. You got to give credit to the Supercross champ. See how he does outdoors. It's been a long time since Webb has done the entire Pro Motocross tour. But we know what he's capable of in a stadium. And it's just 2 weeks ago in Salt Lake, a pressure-packed championship battle between he and Sexton. It has become the term Supercross hangover in this sport.
He definitely hung over after that championship. I mean, that was a fight to the end.
Yes.
And with Cooper, maybe not expecting to win that championship and how long and grueling that season is. It's good to see him out here. But don't forget, Cooper's won 250 championships out here before. So yeah, I think he's been focused on, in the last championships he won has been Supercross, and he's been injured, not been able to race motocross. So we all forget and almost sleep on his skills. But just like Supercross, if the guy comes out here and he gets that feeling and he knows he has the speed, he will be a threat to win this title just because he's still Cooper Webb and he knows how to do it, and he's done it before.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to have these epic bench racing conversations about this championship the last 2 weeks, and you don't really hear Cooper Webb's name that much, partially because no one really knew the status of the thumb situation. That's all good now. Checkers are out, so Webb is done. He's just out of the top 10. He's 12th quickest right now. As there you see the 3. ET3. Still powering down.
Yeah, I think he knows Chase is behind him, so I'd be curious to see how long he goes after this lap, especially if he looks Chase is still there. He loves them clutches, don't he?
Woo, abusing the motorcycle. Just hear it in these corners.
Yeah. It's almost difficult when you're riding like Eli's not to really bear it in these corners. Like, you know, he's going so fast and kind of missed that rut again. Situations like that, and that's where he got caught up in the beginning, that other lap.
Yep.
So not too bad. He kind of made his way, kind of almost figured out a different line, but for him, I'm just laughing at him giving it all, and he's the one guy here that says the 450 it ain't fast enough, you know. So
yeah, he'll take all the power they can put and then some. So fun to have Tomac back in pro motocross.
Ooh, that was close. See that front end tuck right there.
And in a couple of moments, checkers for Eli. Looks like Jet Lawrence is going to hold on to this one. Jet Lawrence, he's never lost a race. He's won every overall ever.